I don't know, the Final Fantasy, oh shit. Like, in my opinion, the Final Fantasy franchise after Final Fantasy X released nothing but subpar generic. Let me think of what came after. But what about 13 though? But 13, funny enough, 13 is one of the only Final Fantasies I've ever like fully played all the way through. I know, it's sad. I never said it was good. I just said it's the one I played. Yeah, did you try 16? I've watched Jesse Cox, play through most of it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Dead end, they won't give up. I'll just have to hide. So long, suckers! You'll never find out where I'm going. He's gone into hiding. Let's see if we can sneak up behind him and catch him. That's what I was originally going to do. I probably shouldn't have used that. Oh well. I don't care about small fry. I do not care. Oh, watch it! You fools can't chase down a pumpkin! No way! Alright, I'm hiding. You know, I'm in plain sight. I'm totally hiding. They don't know what's going on. Well, since you fools gonna chase down a pumpkin, you piece of stupid fucking. Oh god. I don't want to fight you. Turn around. Yeah, you rise much faster than your feet. That is where it'll take you 100 more years to catch me. Why are we letting him talk? Just attack him. Just smack him in the face. Oh, you rise much faster than your feet. Yeah, I'm not getting down there. Oh, we have to corner him. That's right. We have to corner him. I forgot. What the? Your gadgets is getting old. Those just take you. Oh, jeez. Enough. You got me fair and square. I don't do the hard-hitting stuff. Pablito, the direction for Yoshi P has no soul. I don't know the art direction looks lifeless. Yoshi P. So that's the creator of Final Fantasy XIV, which Epsilon and I play on Sundays. Look. Okay. Hold on. I'll give back your coin. Let's do this real quick. Whoa, did you really believe me? I was lying! I got you! Here comes our rocket! So, okay, so let's talk about Yoshi P for a second. So the developer of the new Final Fantasies and 14. Well, this is going. By the way, how the volume levels? Can you guys hear me? The game's a little loud for me, but as long as it's okay for you, that's all that matters. By the way, this game, when it was made originally, was Nintendo and Square Enix together. So this is a Square Enix game, actually. I agree. Okay, so here's the thing. I like the anime look, if you couldn't tell. So his designs for stuff is not horrible for me. However, it is a bit generic looking. Like, you don't have the steampunk Cloud Final Fantasy, you don't have 10 with like the airships, you don't even have 8 with like the weird, not 8, 9 with like the weird like multiple belts and stuff. Hello, Nomura. Final Fantasy always did have like this like look to it that was very good with how it worked. I think Yoshi P has a good heart. I think he wants to go in the right direction, but his, like you mentioned, aesthetic isn't exactly the most. Look, I give Nomura a lot of grief, Kingdom Hearts creator and all that, worked with Final Fantasy for a while. But the man does have some unique art direction with like the way the clothes look, the style, the like weirdness to it, the ethereal kind of stuff sometimes, and he does really well with it. I think Yoshi P does very, very well when it comes to. I think he does very well when it comes to like the overall getting you in there. But if you play Final Fantasy, okay, I watched Jesse Cox play Final Fantasy 16, and if you watch that game played, the way the story unfolds, it's very good. However, the side quests are interesting looking at the world, but they're very like, go here, person has problem, go here, fight something, go back, I guess the problem was this all along, and that's like every single quest. And there's some darker tones, some interesting quirks to it, and you get to know the characters, and that matters, but there's not like this exploration. Yeah, I think that's the word, is that whenever you go to an area, okay, here's what it is. Yeah, we're having this talk, because I've been thinking about this for a while. When you go to, okay, let me read yours first, because I think you're touching on it. Okay, let me take this off because the music's blaring in my ears. Okay. From first glance, Pablito says, from first glance and an hour of watching, I just think compared to old games, which had a clear, unique story and vibrant color palettes, these new games just don't encapsulate the said aesthetic, and it is a little loud, but only slightly. Okay, thank you. Let me see if I can edit. Okay, I've turned it down a little bit. How's that? Let me know how that is. While I go over to this like a little rant. I think you're right. Like, okay, because I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 with my cousin all the time. You guys have heard me. You've seen the gripes I have. Really nice now. Excellent. Thank you so much for letting me know that. Turn down just a tiny bit more, just to be safe, but that's good. Excellent. So here's my thing with that, is that I think you're right. Whenever you go on an adventure, like this game for example, right now we're kind of in like the mushroom town and oh no, we gotta get the croc. But as we go, you'll see we go into, especially Booster's Tower, wait till we get there. We go and then there's just stuff happening and you get involved in the world and then you find out what's going on. Whenever you go on an adventure through something, you want to experience first and get enthralled in the unique atmosphere and what's going on, the aesthetic, and then exposition and how things, wait, I want to know what's going on. One Piece, I love One Piece, and it's just continuing to get better. One Piece does this really well. They'll go into an area, interact with unique denizens of the island or wherever they are, and then they start to, you get a little bit of exposition at first, but just enough to know the general idea of where you're going. And then stuff happens. And it's like stuff that's really weird, like people losing their shadows and crap. You get the idea if you watch the show. And then you start to learn about what's happening. And you want to because you've been there. You're like, oh my gosh, this stuff's happening. Wait, I want to know what's going on. It should never be where, as an author, you're trying to sell to your audience immediately as if they need to know. That shows to me a lack of vulnerability and a control fear element of mindset. In Yoshi P's work, I've noticed they'll go into something and then they'll talk about it for 5 hours about what's going on. And it's not bad information, and it helps to like smooth out the world. The information and the delivery is not bad, but it's at the wrong time in my opinion. For example, one of the best showings that he's done, small spoilers first, okay. I'm going to talk about Final Fantasy 14, the third expansion, Shadowbringers, for a moment. It's a very good expansion. If you don't want to hear about this, don't listen, because I don't want to spoil it. It is good. The main story of that is very good. Okay, so whenever you enter into that situation, you're jumping universes basically. And when you get there, you start in a forest where everything looks too light and too bright and weird. And someone like meets you and helps you camp, like just some random dude. And he's like, man, the denizens of light are really doing it, and the sin eaters, oh man, that's a problem. And he tosses around these terms, and you're like, wait, what's this stuff? But the guy does it when you ask. He doesn't like, oh, well, let me tell you the story. So a long time ago, but don't you know it? He doesn't do all that. He's just like, what do you mean? When you live under a rock? Yeah, sin eaters, man, they're gonna get you. Stay away from the light. Yeah, so be good out there, and he leaves. He doesn't give you the whole thing. And so now you're like, whoa, where did I end up? This isn't like our normal world. Something's wrong. And so you're intrigued, and then you go to the main town, and then you get attacked by some sin eaters, and then it starts to, sorry, it's supposed to be up, and then it starts to unfold a bit. Then they lore drop you on everything, But I thought that was really good, because they threw you in, and you just experienced the world, and you realize something's wrong, something's weird. So you want to learn more. It should always be the audience, I want to know more, tell me more. if there's a character we love or that is introduced, don't tell the backstory first. Go into the character, let them be part of what's going on. Then, after you've had it, be like, okay, what the crap is going on with this? Like, for example, spoilers for Demon Slayer. It's a great anime, it's a fantastic anime. Whenever they meet a villain, I'm trying to keep this big as I can. A lot of the times, they fight the villain first, the villain's very scary and everything like that. And only after they fought for a while, do they then show some of the backstory. They'll give little hints, but only then do they show some of the backstory for what's going on with that character, how they became a demon and everything like that. And that's very good, because now that I've seen this character in action, now that I know this character, which you know characters by involving them in what's going on, now I freaking care. Now I'm like, wait, how did you end up like this? How did this happen? Now I want to see your backstory. It's a treat to see it now. Pablito, Final Fantasy games should have linear storylines. Stories take place in locations A, B, and C, like the Paper Mario games. So one of the reasons I think the new Zelda games are so stupidly overrated. They do not have the charm of old Zelda games, by the way, those are great points. Here's my thing. Here's my argument to that as well. I think linear is important, because I like linear storytelling. This is a linear story. But I don't think it's necessary for a good story either, because it's not that I think everything can have its own charm. For example, Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a very expansive game. You can go anywhere in there and get involved. And it is, by far, in my opinion, the best open world game I've ever played, period. There is no contender. I'm even counting Breath of the Wild and stuff. 100,000%. And it's not just because the combat's good, which I think is fantastic. I love action combat. This is fine, because you have to do action commands. But the reason I think it's good is every time I played the game, until around the end where I've basically seen everything, and I still hadn't, so it's still a little bit of intrigue. When I was playing, the way I always thought of it was, if you see Nightmare Before Christmas, you know, Jack Skellington's song, what's this? What's this? You know, I was like all intrigued about Christmas Town and everything. That was me. Every time I went, I was like, what's this? What's this? There's blight over there. What's this? What's this? What's that knight doing there? Is he going to crush me? Will I be dead? Will I find some new dread? Or something like that. Like, everywhere I went, there was something new. And not just new, because new is cheap. Novelty has its own pull, but that's not enough to make something good. It has to be new and intriguing. And everywhere Elden Ring was intriguing, and it all touched back on itself. There was a reason everything was like this. Now, I'm not a deep lore kind of guy. I like lore. I like deep lore. I play Kingdom Hearts and saw the entire thing. Yeah, I mean, go to Race for Games on YouTube and watch Kingdom Hearts Chronicle. I did all Kingdom Hearts in chronological order. But I'm not the biggest environmental storytelling kind of guy or anything. But even I can see there's history here. And it's not linear, but that's okay, because wherever I walk has had its own history, and I can discover that in a linear fashion for myself. And wherever I go, there's intrigue for the situation I'm in. I'm dealing with things. There's monsters and terrain and stuff and trap right there. Just right there, I'm interacting with it. And because of that, because of interaction happening, which is an interactive medium, because of that, I'm now getting involved. I am now part of the story, and my involvement is connecting me directly, because that's how video games work. It's a very unique medium, which is beautiful for it. Once again, one of the best RPGs and video games of all time, in my opinion, one of my top of all time, Undertale. Undertale, you get involved with what's going on, but you don't know the full story until later, and you're grabbing for lore. You want exposition, because you're like, this world's insane, it's so charming, but it's dark. I want the dark. Wait, no, I want to know. It's like, no, just keep interacting. Watch these fun interactions, like, and just also this dark thing. Anyway, moving on. And you're like, wait, no, I want the exposition. When you got an audience member clamoring for exposition, you're doing it right. That's my get on that one. And whenever you create a world, whether it's linear or it's big open and you're just like, no matter how you're doing it, the way it unfolds is huge. This is why I hate spoilers and why I don't theory craft, is because when I'm playing something or enjoying something, I don't want to know a thing about it. I want to know it. I want to see it in a vacuum. And I want to see how is the author doing their job, which is their job, to execute this story. Because content and concepts, especially concepts are even less, but content is only half of the story. That is only half at best. Execution is the other half. And there are great stories and great hooks and concepts that fall flat because the execution's bad. Soul Eater. I love Soul Eater. It's very good. Its execution was not handled great. It fell off because of that. Power levels all over the place and stuff. Execution needs to be done well as well. And I go through stories, and whenever an audience member does, when you do, you learn about the world through the execution by the author. And if it's open world, that's fine. You need to place it very carefully so that there's nice tidbits leading to it. It's much harder. But if you're doing linear, it's hard too, because why have full control? Yes, you do have full control of this story. That means it's fully up to you, author, to make sure this is done right. Because if the execution, if it's not grabbing the audience, everyone has preferences, sure. But overall, if it's not grabbing the audience, that's not the audience's fault. At least the open world person has, well, you kind of went here first, and yeah, it should be anywhere you go, but you know, it's trying to lead you. But linear, the author has no excuse. Where else was I supposed to go? This is the linear, and I'm not intrigued. This isn't executed well. That's on the author. That's why it's very important. The execution is huge. Execution is huge on how this stuff works. So I agree with you, Papito. I think, and that openness of the world is very important too. There's nothing wrong with gritty or darker or less colors. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. I like it. I like color. I don't do grit. But if you're going to do that, the author needs to make sure that there is gripping pull for the reasons that you're there. Like, there has to be a reason that you're continuing, not just, you got to keep going, right? The termination of the grit. Yeah, it's like, no, that's not a reason. The reason needs to be, why are we doing this? Pablito, yeah, the story should be world-driven with characters being a part of the world, but also equally part of their own charm. That's a magic pocket. Sakaguchi is a masterclass in this. Well, the best open world storyteller is Bethesda. Bethesda's very good, yeah. And how does Bethesda do it? You're right. How does Bethesda do it? You just get in the world. You start interacting. You'll get lore and exposition. First off, that's only if you ask, and if you ask right. Second off, that's only as you meet people. And it's not like, okay, there's this cutscene. All right, you talk to this person. Here comes the cutscene. No, it's just like, hey, we're having a conversation. Okay, bye. You got a little bit from this. Like real life. You got a little bit from a conversation. Pablito, I didn't like Elden Ring, not enough story. I need my deep dive cutscenes. I agree with that. I'm a big story kind of guy, like cutscene kind of thing. The way I handled Elden Ring was that it was just an exploration of a fallen world. I did not care about the story, even though I'm a huge story guy. Instead, I just looked at what could I discover and what did it make me feel when I discovered new things. Because it's like a depraved wonderland is the way I took it. I was like Alice going to a depraved wonderland. What am I seeing next? Because the whole point of Wonderland in the story of Alice is the absurdity of the world and its own rule set that it has, and realizing the importance of order because a rule set based on absurdity is not okay and has issues. And so Elden Ring is kind of like a story of depravity and how that falling off can happen, like that kind of thing. So I take it like that, but I totally get it because I am more of a linear kind of guy as well. But I love open world. I love the combat in it too. Pablito, I think open world's a cop out. Those old games have storylines that will blow your mind because limitations of technology. That is, limitations create ingenuity. Nowadays, it's easier to just make a big world with Flash and use side focus. Yeah. Pablito, look at Bioshock for BioWare. You really have no idea what's happening. It's fascinating. Yes! Bioshock's a fantastic idea. And my dad loved it because he wasn't super into the story, but he loved the atmosphere. Like, you can hear people go crazy in the background. You can hear their shufflings. And you can see that something's wrong, and you, like, uncover the story as you go through it. Yeah. Pablito, interesting. Going into sort of understanding the backstory and taking it by visual. I never thought of that way. I never think it's serious anyway. I think that there's a lot with there. And Pablito, for Elden Ring, what you said about open world being a cop-out, I think you got a point. It's not that open world is bad. No genre in and of itself is bad. I think you're right. It's being used as a cop-out a lot now because it's expected, because more world equals more gameplay. But that's not exactly the... Here's an example. I should not be on this front. Hold on, Croco, you'll be fine. Can I run? Can I run? I mean, I can make a break for it. From there. Okay, so let's talk Horizon Forbidden West, Zero Dawn kind of thing, right? Those are good games. I like those games. But the most fun in those games is just going around, exploring the world, finding new machines and their dens, and how do I tackle this, and why are they here? Like, learning about the story connected to the main story, which the main story is good. I think the main story is good for that game, either way. I really do think it's good. The issue is with the gameplay, and this is a problem with like Ubisoft kind of games, like, you know, Far Cry and stuff like that, is you have 10 activities that you do. Climb a tower, raid a base, escort envoy, go find a thing in an area, like a crystal in an area, which is always the same kind of crystal. There's only like 10 to 15 activities, and they're all good and they're all unique. They're like, ooh, this is fun. And then you do them again and again and again and again. It's just a tiny variation, reskin of the same thing. And it's not just the activity, it's the way it's presented. It's, here comes the discussion with the NPC, here comes their unique way, there's reskin of saying, I need you to go here and get this. Here comes the reskin of bringing it back, their personal connection to it. Here comes the skin of the reward you get. You know, it's the same formula, and there's nothing wrong with tropes and formulas. There's nothing wrong with that. But when they're used, like you mentioned, Polito, as a cop-out, as I'm doing this, so this is what it is, that can be a bit of a problem, because now it's not used for purporting the story and the structure. Now it's used as the story and structure, as a fill-in, which that's just cookie cutter subdivision house building. That's not good, because that saps out the creativity of what you're doing. Well, the reason I liked Elden Ring so much is that when I went somewhere, I didn't know what I was getting into. Some of them would be like a village that I'm riding through horseback on, and if I get off, I'm just getting slammed by magic, that one magic village. So instead, I'm like going to stay on my horse and try to like navigate. Then I go into the swamp that's right next to it, and it's like a truck of like a, not truck, can't think of the word. You're like, trucking through something, and you have to like endure your way through. There's like things grabbing at you, and it's like ugh. Then you go to the swamp down on the like west side of the map, and then it's more of like ghosts, where I'm like going to the swamp and I'm like, okay, it's really quiet, and then something will appear, and oh jeez, and it's completely different. The atmosphere and the gameplay and what's placed there make a different situation. When you go into the crystal caves leading into the school, that's more like a stealth mission where there's like scholars looking about the crystals, and you have to like weasel your way in, because you don't have to, but that's what it's like. The gameplay's like pointing you to, which you don't have to do because of the world. That's what's pointing you to, is that kind of experience. Polito, oh, so then what your idea is the perfect formula? I know what you say is the perfect formula, but what should a game look like? What's a good example of a game that has good balance? Besides, yes, I'm going to say World of Warcraft. Polito, ooh, I see. Your character and the way you interact with the world is essentially a storyline with another interesting way of looking at it. You have a crisis-cycle way of explaining things. Well, thank you. Babel Sensei would be proud. he's helped me, my friend Babel, if you ever met him, he's helped me to look at things in more of an open perspective. And we are too, with biblical, because we are to give, once again, remember that the Bible verse we talked about today, not curse and with persecution, and when things are going the way they are. Instead, give blessings and look into what, if there is a problem, okay, but why is it there? Is there a way we can look at it as like a springboard to something better? I think that the idea is to merge the experience, because remember, and Total Biscuit, God rest his soul, if you go watch his stuff, he's very good video game commentator in my opinion. He always talked about it. Video games are a very unique medium because you're playing through a story, but you're playing through it. It's not a movie. There's nothing wrong with cutscenes. That's fine. But you're there. The more involved you can get, the better it can be for the experience, because it's not about fooling yourself that you're there. It's about experiencing it through the there. The there is an experience now that you can viscerally, tangibly, not put yourself through, that's the wrong word, have a vicarious, I guess, experience through. where not only the gameplay itself, like, oh, the combos, but also the moving through whatever adventure's happening. Like I mentioned, whenever I went in those crystal caves, because of the quiet, dark nature and the patrols, I automatically started to get into like a stealth kind of area. When I went through the swamp with the ghost area, I was immediately with the atmosphere on my edge a bit, and then the gameplay of the attacks and the moving in from the enemies spurred onto that setup foundation of fear and like the, ooh, this is a little spooky, to sink in, this is a ghost area and here they come, and the, oh, I gotta be on my toes. And so it created that kind of experience with everything working together for it. Pablito. But then by that logic, open world are sort of alluded to main storyline is completely counterintuitive. Is every modern game attempting to go open world, it either has to be completely your story and be open world, or a linear storyline that is supposed to have a streamlined story simply cannot work as open world. Yeah, I guess you don't always need exposition to enjoy a story. I think it's a flaw on our part. No. And that's the thing, Pablito. We aren't to judge. It's okay. Don't judge that you like story. Because I thought about it too. It's like, maybe I'm the problem. No. And I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think it's about merging the experience because it's one experience. If there is going to be a pretty decently heavy story, and this is where it gets tricky, how do you balance the open world? Because your character, because there's an open world, your character, and this is DMing in tabletops as well, if you're making more of an open world instead of a real railroading, Babel Sensei, my great wonderful DM of the past, we're working on it, is always great about this. How do you connect whatever's going on to the main story? Because the main story is set. It's very set. So if you're open world, that inherently means any of these points exist right now. All of these spaces on the open world, besides a few gated areas, are existing right now simultaneously. Because the player can technically be anywhere of these places. So then you have to go, all right, how do I merge a consistent story with being able to be anywhere? And that's very tricky. It can be done, but it can be very tricky about it. One of the things I've noticed is whenever perhaps there's an overall ecological change, whenever you do something in the main story, and then the area is affected, and that can create new like wonder for exploring that. But that means inherently wherever was there needs to be sacrificed because that area has now changed. So the previous version does no longer exist. That's where you may want to get a little sneaky and make an area not have that much. And it's okay to not have that much. Maybe it's like a safe haven for some characters or something. I'm just spitballing. And it's peaceful by nature. And the upheaval, which creates a new experience and connects to the main story of progression, is now the upheaval of that piece, which connects to maybe story development, and also creates a new environment to explore that's open world that you can go to or not go to. Pablito, no, I'm not judging. It just makes me wonder then how a story should be told without much guidance, but the world should feel alive, i.e. back to your Yoshi P argument with guides too much. Well, you put a lot of thought into this. You can tell the way it circles back to logic to truly understand. I try to. Hey, a lot of campaigns. This is all Babel Sensei, my wonderful friend. You're amazing. Best DM there is. And this is what makes it tricky, is that with a movie, even with a movie that connects to other stories, like what Marvel does with multiple universes, you still have a lot of control because, yes, there's kind of like an open world with how people navigate those other stories. They're side quests in a way, but they're still, you go in and you watch it and that's what happens. So even if they tackle it a little out of order, the stories are still stories and they lead to where they're supposed to go. In a game, a lot of games like this is going to be very linear, that's fine. But if you're trying to do more open world, you are releasing control, which is good inherently for a player who is in an interactive experience. That's inherently a good thing, I think, when it comes to games. But the problem is, now for story, that makes it challenging because now they're in control. That means they don't have to take guidance all the time. This is why I believe Undertale is one of the best modern games ever made. Because it's really open world when you look at how you tackle the story and everything. There's genocide end, neutral end, reverse pacifist, true pacifist. Those are pretty much put together. And that means there's kind of an open world by how you tackle it, and you can learn as you go, and it's tied directly into the story. But that took Toby Fox making dialogue on dialogue on dialogue on dialogue, variations of that dialogue, variations of this encounter. There are literally times where an NPC might not be there because you've done something. But the main story still continues on 3 basic trajectories of neutral, genocide, pacifist, true pacifist. And there's kind of a funneling with that, with some branching that goes into there. Because eventually, if you're going to make a story, there has to be a bottleneck. There could be multiple endings, but there have to be a bottleneck to those endings. Because you can't have 15 million endings. I mean, you can, but good luck. So the experience being as diverse as it can before it bottlenecks, with maybe like a side door to the end you're getting to, could be a good way of doing it. And Toby Fox did that with Undertale. That's why it's such a good game. Oh, Undertale's so good. I've always wanted to write a thesis about it. But yeah. Pablito, I see the World of Warcraft, RuneScape, and Skyrim truly bested this logic. Now I see why you like Elden Ring. It's hands-off and creates an interactive world. That's a great argument. Okay. Yeah, and once again, I like straight stories. I love straight stories. I love stories that beginning and end and have beautiful pacing through it. I love that. That's where I live. But I appreciate, and Elden Ring really helped me to appreciate, because I played open worlds, but that was a big one. It really, go ahead and type that question by the way. It really helped me to appreciate how non-guidance can still be a beautiful experience, but what you go through needs to be full of stuff. And I don't mean stuff. It needs to be full of breath and life. When I went through Elden Ring, it really did feel like Alice in Wonderland. I did not know where I was. What's happening with this world? Why is this stuff like this? Why is this mad? What went on here? Can you learn more of the story? And there's some main story stuff. I honestly wish there was more main story, but I get it. But that can be really, really difficult. Okay, one question. Baldur's Gate 3, Pablito. I am someone that will search for the perfect answer every encounter, and when I realize Baldur's Gate, I immediately hit a wall. And I think that that's the thing, because Baldur's Gate 3 is emulating a tabletop roleplay. Pablito, he told me if you try to look for the truth too deep, it will always end badly for you. This is where, yeah, I agree with you. Baldur's Gate 3 is emulating a tabletop. And a tabletop has a DM that's made because of that invisible wall. A DM has made a tabletop to experience with an overarching story, but the point of a tabletop is the appeal to it is what is your story. It's kind of like an open world by choice. A tabletop is basically a choose your own adventure book, but with actual combat and some stuff. Not that I don't like strategic combat. There's nothing wrong with it. I like real-time action. But that's basically what it is. So the Choose Your Own Adventure is a book that has its own through line. But, and Baldur's Gate, from what I heard, I've not played it yet. We'll see. I have a thing against dice. We'll see. Baldur's Gate just started fantastic by doing what Toby Fox did with Undertale with so many interactions to where you can do this through the story. Pablito, the way I eventually phrased it was, I couldn't get behind it because I kept hitting too many dead ends, literally. And that might be the DM placing those dead ends because he is trying to gatekeep, because it's not time for the overarching story to reach there yet, which does happen, and that's a little difficult to deal with, because you do have to do that sometimes, but you don't want to, because that's like saying no to a player, and you never want to say no to a player. But it also could be, this is a dead end, which could in of itself have merit if the dead end has a reason. Eventually I realized the real mystery of what's going on around this game. Please no spoilers, because I might actually play it. I'm on the fence about it for some reasons. I'm not going into it. But I do know it's a good game. I know it's fantastic. But I think that that's the main thing with it, is that, like we mentioned, there's I literally have not gotten past the first part. Okay, so I know there's parts to it. But I know that there's like facets about that. And when you're trying to create a story, it's very difficult with interaction happening, because it's very difficult to understand what interaction is going on, and like to make it happen, because that inherently, once again, creates creates a situation where the player has input to where the story's going. But it's just, in the end, there's invisible tracks that you as the DM, or as the creator of the game, have to know but not enforce. Like, you have to think about, if you give more options, that's great, but that means more contingencies for those options. And you as a DM, or you as a creator and developer, have to take into account every option that you allow and its contingencies with it, which means more work in the long run, but usually create the most involved experiences. Because, like Bethesda does, you can kill the shopkeep, you can talk to the shopkeep, you can use the shopkeep as part of your party and the understanding of the overarching story. The overarching story is always there, but the flavor and the experience of it shifts with your choices. Eventually maybe leading to a different end because of multiple ending kind of stuff. And once again, there's nothing wrong with using open world or not using open world with this. This is a great game. This is a fantastic game when we get to it. This is a great game. But it's very linear. It's very linear. But that's okay, because the exposition and the execution of it is very fun and intriguing throughout the whole thing. That's fine. That is like crafting, instead of crafting like a charcuterie with a bunch of different flavors and combinations, and here you go, how are they going to eat it? And then they like kind of do it, and there's ways to eat it, and there's only so much you can technically eat on the plate, but there's a lot of combinations you can do, and you as a player are experiencing it in your kind of way, but it always leads to the satisfaction of the ending that, and the genre that the cooking is, like this is an Italian charcuterie or whatever, you get the idea, as opposed to a very specifically crafted, Aaron talks about this in Sequelitis, by the way, Castlevania 1 and 2, go watch that, his stuff is actually very good, the Sequelitis stuff is very good, or like a specifically crafted dessert, perfectly made and sculpted, with the eating of it taken into account about how the individual will eat it, and the only way they can, because the layers are developed in certain ways, you have to eat it to like get the first layer first, because of course it's on the top, and it's specifically crafted. That also has just as much merit as the charcuterie, with it laid out to like allow for that kind of openness, whereas this one's very crafted to a very specific degree, but is beautiful and very perfect in that crafting, where everyone kind of gets the same experience from this one, the perfectly crafted one, but it's a beautiful experience that everyone can share and understand perfectly what each person's feeling, as opposed to charcuterie, where there's a communal connection between those who have eaten it, not because they did the same thing, but because they ate it a little different, but there's that tie-in of everyone eating from the same charcuterie, and the spices of variety bringing people together to create even more intrigue. Whereas the intrigue for the perfectly created dishes, the reflection upon how beautiful that made us feel, and yes, I connected with that too. Things like that. Like whenever you watch a fantastic part of a series and you connect with someone else, you're like, I remember that part, yeah, I cried too, like, and like how you both were connected so perfectly. It's not that everyone doesn't have their own little spin on how they personally processed it, but what went in for the processing was the same, and the general trajectory of the process of the sadness was shared because everyone was the same one. So that's kind of like the idea of how I see it. But we don't. By the way, since we last spoke, have you been to a lot of conversations? I don't mean to sound like condescending, and maybe it's just being wiser, but would you say your points are a lot sharper? Because I've had a hard time trusting people in the way you're talking, really showing me the truth of the vision. What have you been doing? Talking to God because he sees vision. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, to see some maturity. I think my job helps. I've been working with a lot more clients, and working with different kinds of people helps your own perspective. Even though we know what's right and wrong by his word, the experiences of people are still very unique and very important because they're going through things. Also, I've reconnected with Rabble Sensei once again. We've been talking a lot, and that helps a lot. He's very wise, he's a good friend, so I think that's helping me grow a little bit too. And I've been trying to like look at things. I've been looking at stuff like this for a good while, but I don't always talk about it. Sometimes you'll see on Final Fantasy XIV with Facilion and I, when we complain about Final Fantasy XIV, which I know I do too much, I'm sorry, you'll see me go into these conversations a little bit. I'll talk about like the trajectory and stuff like that. We actually go into those conversations a little, which are actually pretty nice. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. Polito, so wait, expand on this a bit between these two things, engaging in forward experience for charcuterie board. Okay, so when we're talking about an experience of games specifically, because series, when you're watching something or reading a book, when it's something very set, it's always the creative experience, because there's no other, the player audience interaction doesn't change it, because it's not a choose your own adventure kind of adventure. I mean, it's not surprising. People in Christ seem to grow massively for experience. Yeah, he works in our hearts, and I'm glad to hear that maybe it's showing something. We will get to you, Croco. Give me a second. He's just like on the ground. I think that whenever it comes to games, depending on what you choose as a developer to make, the choices create a different kind of landscape from which all of the audience can experience it. Because remember, every person exists every variation of person exists at the exact same time in an author's mind when creating an experience. Because anyone can view it, which means anyone can apply their perspective to what they're experiencing. For a game, especially open world, this is very huge, because that means everyone's tendencies will come into play, because everyone exists as a unique individual. I mean, there are sections of how people handle things, of course. So, like, you know, like there are the lore nerds, there are the murder hobos, as to put it. You know, I just want to kill stuff. Or, there's the casual players. You know, there are genres, sure, and there's nothing wrong with those kinds of tropes of stereotypes, because people do fall into those to a wider extent. So it's good to cover the basics, but everyone is very unique in how they fully appreciate something and go through it. So it's a charcuterie. And they're making open world, which is a charcuterie, because there's so many different things and things to apply in different ways, because it's your choice as the author, as a player. It's, okay, I have to take into account what's on here will be experienced in every combination possible, because everyone who plays it is going to be different to some extent, which means if enough people play it, let's assume a lot of people are playing it, we assume that, everything will be covered in some way, shape, or form. Because everyone tackles games differently, and some people really dive into stuff, and everyone will at some point. So that means I need to make every element of the experience engaging and able to be not specifically paired with something, because that's more guidance to make that happen. You can, but be able to exist co-optively with everything else on that board. So if they go to the poison area and meet the maid and really get involved with her story, that needs to be able to, not perfectly pair like I'm looking to do it, but be able to pair with next going to the corpse cult and experiencing their story and choosing to be kind to them. Or instead, another person's experience going to the corpse cult and murdering everyone. And then going to the dragon's lair and interacting with the old soul dragon in whatever way they choose. Like, these pieces have to exist inherently on their own to a engaging degree, and then have no negative impact. And by negative, I don't mean a bad outcome, because that can be intriguing in itself, but I mean oops, these two pieces don't fit together in any kind of combination. Like, there should never be a dissonance of but this, but this. If there is a dissonance, and this can be okay, it's because of a bad outcome created by the player's actions, which on itself is not bad, because it reflects on the player's agency. That's fine too. That also depends on how dark you want to go, which I don't really get, but I get the idea. And that has it too as well. Polito, so then how would the game end if you could fulfill the truth entirely outright with invisible walls and team interference? What does the game even look like? That is where you have to put, in my opinion, you have to put some kind of gatekeeping there, and that can be strength of the character. This is where power levels do come into play and actually can be important, is where maybe the character's literally not strong enough to go challenge Ganon, quote unquote, you know how that is right now. But in those games, you technically can. Yes, you can. And that creates another layer, another part of the board, where someone should, if it's action combat, which action combat's the best combat in my opinion, because you can do that, where if someone wants to go straight challenge and win the game without interacting with the rest of the board, then they can. And that's another option. So leveling and power can be a gatekeeping way, but it can also be keys, as it were. Like for Elden Ring, you literally cannot move to the upper area and where like the more, not end game, but the later game stuff is, you literally cannot do it without killing two major bosses. You have to. And so that is a gatekeeping element in a very open world game. The way it gets away with it is, and it's okay, is because, in my opinion, and everyone can take it differently, the open world is so fucking huge and so intriguing. By the time I get to that gate, I've already killed 3. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know 2 was a requirement at that point. And that's the best whenever the player doesn't even know there's a requirement, they pass. That's good. That means they just continue. And even if I get to the gate early, it may have an intrigue of, oh, I can't pass this. Ooh, there is a wall. And that's not bad. The wall's not bad, because it's, ooh, what's past there? If there's so little before the wall, that's a problem, because that's a gate. But because Elden Ring is so huge, and everything's so intriguing, at least to me, I like the way I thought, it just made me go, oh, I wonder what's behind that wall. If this stuff's like this, that must be even worse. Oh my god, it's gonna be even worse. Oh my god, I gotta go through the other areas. I gotta prepare. I'm not ready for this. Like, it creates even more intrigue if it's used well. Every element for creation of something is not bad. This is why tropes are not bad. Go watch Red's Trope Talks from Overly Sarcastic. She has a fantastic job. Tropes are not bad. It's how we use them. And if, once again, like you mentioned, Polito, if it's a placeholder or a substitution and a lazy choice for a cop-out, that's not good, because that shows the heart not being in the right place to create a good experience. But this is mind-blowing because you're almost making the argument for Elden Ring because it's more about action versus exposition. That's why I often stop playing. I literally said I cannot get behind Baldur's Gate. So then I ask myself, what is Baldur's Gate in? And then I think it's that invisible wall. And that might not be a bad thing. It depends on how they use it. If it's an invisible wall because that's part of the intrigue of the world, that's not bad. Let's pretend there's a world. Spitballing here. Let's pretend that there's a game, that the secret to the game is it's like a Westworld situation where you're in a simulation or a fake town, and you go and do a bunch of quests, and then you as a player, because you're smart and you're curious, you hit a wall, and you notice the wall. It's noticeable when you hit it, and you think, oh, this is a problem. Why is that wall there? And it's like, well, that's bad. No. Let it sit. Let it cook. And you're like, oh, that's weird. That wall shouldn't be there. It's weird that wall's there. I don't like that. It makes me feel enclosed. That's good. That enclosed feeling is not bad for this story, because the point of the story, when you get later, and then you open the walls, you realize, oh, that's why I was feeling enclosed, because it was enclosed. Oh my god, it was a simulation. I hate those walls. No wonder I hated it so much. It was encapsulating me in, and it goes in line with the theme. This is why I always say, I'm so behind this, when you create something, framing is everything. How does the author frame it? Because framing is the general guide by which they hold the hand of the player to lead them to where the story is meant to do. And framing is huge on that. That's why a game that doesn't have good framing is a problem, or any experience, shows, series. That's why framing's so good. That's why Gear 5. No spoilers. Yeah, Polito, but how do you create a game where getting past the wall is done truly versus having role play as a hero? And the only real game to play is Jesus RPG Simulator. Well, I mean, whenever someone is literally the only real game that reflects reality is plays Jesus RPG by nostalgia. I mean, that's why the author has so much power. This is why DMs for a tabletop, I've always said this, and this is why Babelson say I'm going to praise him. He's awesome. I love my piece. This is why he's the best DM I've ever played with. DMs and the author, creators, developers, whatever, have infinite, it's the genie, infinite cosmic power. What is your core wish? What can I do for you? The creator of the series, whatever it is, exists for the core wishes that they are inherently trying to grant and acknowledging to grant in the audience. And that means, and that goes to genre, framing, what are you going? Whenever the author, with their infinite power for whatever they're creating, their focus has to be used for purporting whatever the main core wish that the audience will have. And that's anticipating that, but you use references, evidence of what people like to help to determine what that may be and what may be a good one to go to. Believe it. They have to be a vessel and get out of their own way to let the story happen. Yes, believe so. Perfect. You're beautiful. Yes. A DM should never be the focus. They are not part of anything. They are the author. They are the greatest servants with unlimited power. That's the point. Because in the end, who are they creating it for? Well, they're doing it for themselves for some fulfillment. Sure. But who are they creating it for? The audience, players. That means everything should exist to serve that core desire that the audience may have, the core wishes. I didn't say surface wishes. Denying those sometimes, not denying, saying not yet is a big thing. That's why level ups happen, so you can have the power later and stuff. But the core wishes is huge. Polito, do you believe that experience can be biblical, or do you believe idealistic in a way? And God allows us since He knows the honest stories. Oh, Polito. Oh. Yes, I do believe it can be biblical. Yes, very much so. Very much so. I hold that very close to my heart. Extremely. The stories, best ones, are there to emulate the truth of the non-fiction work of reality from in His Word. This is why I love One Piece. This is why I love Mario. Because it shows echoes of His love pointing back to Him and echoes of reality and what we experience in the world. Wonder, disappointment, realization. This is why this is what stories are made for. That's the whole point. I mean, they're made to entertain, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a really real other section of they are there to espouse on reality. Not to be reality, to espouse on it and help to show reflection. This is why everyone says media is a reflection of reality and all that. Polito, from my experience, it can be relevating in relationships in many ways. Absolutely. Okay. Polito, so do you believe that these storytellers are modern day prophets? If you're turning on us, I don't think they're prophets are those who speak the truth. I believe God uses them. Yeah, He uses all of us. Everyday interactions with a individual, with our families, with someone down the street. Those are stories. Those are experiences that help revelations and growth. And God placed us there to experience that. Remember, the Bible, reality, and the Bible itself is a book. That means it's a story. He's called the great author for a reason. It's real. But He created it as a beautiful story with the theme being His glory and love for us. So any sub-stories in that story, which are, Mario and stuff like that, show that, or, and this is okay too, showing the opposite, the depravity that happens when one moves away from His love, are beautiful and really, really thought-provoking and important. Once again, I personally believe, I don't do video essays and stuff all that much. I personally believe that Undertale, the two main endings, if you know what I'm talking about, is one of the most beautiful, pure examples of the human experience with love and the absence of it. I could go into, I'm not going into that. It's so beautiful, and I love that. Polito, why not have the stories that we love be prophetic? How awesome can it be? Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, yeah, and it can be beautiful. Like, we can do that. That's fine too. It's just, you know, the world's mostly secular, so they're gonna touch on love, like self-sacrifice and heroism and things like that, but they're not gonna directly all the time. Belito, that's off track a bit, but there's a reason why these New World Order scumbags transfer all stories and culture. I mean, yeah, sure. Stories help to have the human experience and connections. And they help to a lot of stories because we have a conscience placed in us by the Lord that inherently does lead to what's good, even if it can be overpowered and eroded and can, part and part. We do have something, a lot of stories point to his love. And selfish individuals who are after their own agenda and things obviously move away from God's love, so anything that points that way is antithesis to how they move. So they would of course want to get rid of that. But that's also for personal agendas too, and things themselves makes them feel uncomfortable, things like that. Feels wank. But just video games just have fun. And that's fine too. Feels wank also has a point. Hey wank. That also is a point too. They're there to have fun. And that inherent self-care of enjoyment and smiles and the positive experience has merit as well on its own. Because that itself creates a nice little story of self-fulfillment in a way, a blessing God has given us with this to enjoy. And that itself points to his glory and to our own benefit, even if we just have fun with it. That's fine too. So yeah. Polito, I don't know, half the fun is searching for truth in video games. If not, why are you even doing it? Well, I think it's important, Polito, to remember, and that Wilson say feels the same way, my friend. I think there is truth in there and a lot of deepness you can go to, and that's great. That's fantastic. And it's also okay just to experience something for fun. When someone goes out on the water and does jet skiing, there can be deepness felt for the movement of the boat, the sensations of our feelings as the wind hits us, and the beautiful landscape that we are experiencing that God goes through. And at the same time, we can just enjoy and smile for the fun of just like driving the boat. And that's fine too, because even that will go back to the gratitude of, I had a lot of fun today. I'm glad I thank you, Lord, for letting me have this experience of smiling and having some fun and turning my brain off. That's okay too. And that inherently will create those kinds of deeper meanings because they come to the forefront of the fun having gratification in it. Polito, I mean, when you're a kid, yeah, you enjoy unconscious of our first unconscious experience. Or when you love something, the more it reveals something. Yeah, that too. If someone's really into something, they'll dive deep because they love it so much too. But if someone's not super into something, that's okay too, because they can just experience it for what it is, and maybe they won't get the deeper levels in analytical ways, but they'll get it in a way that's more immediately absorbed in a kind of just expression of it itself. If that makes sense. Wait, not everything is deep religious, prophetic enlightenment. It's video games, play and enjoy. There's not a single good thing in the world doesn't have to go or something. I mean, it's how we take it. Remember, it's how we take it. I just like to connect it back to his love because everything in the world is given as a blessing to him, from him. So I like to connect it back to him so that I may get closer to the one that I hold as my most important in my world. Not everyone holds that, and that's okay too. And even just the experience of having fun is fine as well, because that experience will create a gratitude to just experience it and enjoy the joy that God has placed in our lives. And that in of itself has merit for what it is. It's okay to approach things, but you can take it too far. I think it can be taken a little far. I don't think entering into a deeper area of discussion or analyzing and applying to better merit and gratitude is ever a bad thing, but I do think it can be a problem if that's the only merit that can be found. I think it's okay to just experience it and have a fun time too. But that's what you enjoy and go for it. I think feels like, I think you got a point too. And Pablito, I think it is important to go deep and stuff like we've done. That's fine too. And if someone's not there for this experience, I think that's okay. Because this experience isn't the end all be all. This one here, this video game and thing, is okay. Because that's not the point. Whenever we do go into his word and exploring God's love through that, I do believe we should aim to go deeper because that connects directly to what matters truly in life. But other ancillary things like video games and driving a boat and things like that are beautiful and can be gone on deeper. But if they're not pursued that way by an individual, that's okay, because they will find that deepness with the Lord in His Word first and foremost, and maybe in a different activity if they choose to go deeper in that one, because that also can go deeper. It just depends on where everyone lies for their preferences too. Anyway, let's kill a crocodile. Wait, can I do the thing? Here we go! Oh, I got the star! Okay. I want to save that. 2? Oh my god. Ow, he hurts. Okay. Can I guard? Ooh, is there no guard? Whatever. God, you're worthless. Yeah! Yeah, baby, eat that! Freaking jump on it! One, good god. Oh my god, Mario's freaking wrecking. Jump on him! Oh, I messed that up. Ah, freaking Mallow. Oh my god, I messed it up. Woo, good job, Mallow. Oh my god, I messed it up. Miss! Last one! I messed it up! I'm worse. Oh my god, Mallow. Well, you smack it like him. Oh my god. You piece of frickin'! I'm the hero. I'm the only one who's allowed to heal. I have enough for anything. Hooray! Oh, Mario went again? Speed really does have a lot. Because you can go twice. Oh, I messed up. I was so excited. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this. Never mind, I'm great. Frickin' die. Oh my god. Miss! Die. Oh my god, he's fine. He's fine. He's okay. He's fine. He's okay. He's okay. He's alright. He's alright. He's alright. We're alright. Let's use a mushroom. Okay, he's fine. Die, monster! Give me back my coin or I'll belt you again! All my 1 damage! Ah, see, that one was much better than the others. Ouch! I'm right in the soul shazers. I'm gonna pay it back in spades, kid. Just remember, I return unkindness with curses. Come on, take your grubby old coin back. I ain't read Romans. Adios, amigos. See ya. We got it back! Yay! Yeah, we did it! We got Grandpa's coin back! I can finish my errand now! Hey, look at that! Kako guy left a wallet! Finders keepers, suckers! What about back to Mushroom Kingdom's item shop? You wanna join me because you have to go back to Mushroom Kingdom together! Where's the save? Oh, whatever, we'll just go back. How do I go back? How do I... Map! Woo! Let's deal with that in a second. Alright, what have you guys been saying? Sorry, I've not been reading. Phil's right. I enjoy sitting back, relaxing, exploring, and crafting games like Minecraft and Stardew Valley. I would never feel the need to dig deep in lore and wonder what is my faith in what Christ. And that's okay, Phil, right? Because the natural joy... Well, let's take that off, isn't it? The natural joy you get And the peace is something beautiful related to like peace that God gives us for the Sabbath and things like that. And we can make that connection. Even we don't even have to do it actively, just unconsciously giving gratitude for the fact of, thank you, Lord, for the fact I can sit here and just relax. That's something big for me. And that in of itself has a lot of weight. Papito, understanding that when you really love something, it reveals itself to you over time. We have definitely touched on this slowly. We have moved up on this topic slowly. We follow logic, we follow a train of thought, where logic takes it too far, it's not really on the inside, right? Yeah, I think that's the point, is that it's not for us to decide what's too far for the other person. They will continue in their work as they move. Feels like, if the logic follows the train of thought, who am I to say when it's gone too far? Feels like, if it takes you away from what really matters in life, then it's gone too far. That, Phil Wink has a good point. Phil Wink has a good point, is that we have to remember these things we play, video games and stuff, are great. These are beautiful and very wonderful blessings, but they are just blessings. If we get too involved in them for their own sake and for our own agenda for them, even just from a secular point of view, that can be a dangerous thing. Like if someone does work, right, and they really love their work and their job, and they do it to the best of their ability for the Lord, that's great. And if they do it for their family and they really enjoy it and get fulfillment, that's fantastic. But sometimes if they go too far, and they only care about work, and that takes over their whole life, that can be a problem too. Each and everything in of itself is not wrong, but it can become a problem if we let it become the center of our world, becoming an idol, because that's what we live for, in a way. Jovito, I suppose I tell Christ that's good enough, I've derived enough meaning, thanks, and keep God in my own life. Speaking of living man's life, literally talking about how far I'm trained for him. Well, yeah. I mean, Bill Dwayne, how can you find what really matters in life? It's not like I'm eating a fruit that hurts someone following logic. Am I supposed to keep myself in train of life? No, I think it's more about like watching ourselves in our hearts, like how the Bible says, check your heart every day with renewal, making sure we know, because everything comes from the heart, and psychologically, which connects to the mind, which is my job. What we think and what our beliefs are connect us to what matters for ourselves in our life, and like the Bible says, from the heart, from the mind, flow the waters of life. Where we choose to place our time and the emphasis we place on what matters for it helps to determine where we go. So I think that's the idea. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the main idea, is that everyone has their own journey with it, and if we go with that, that can be like the understanding of where we end up. Yeah. But let's be kind in our chat too, because the way we interact with others is very important as well. As we talked about with our Bible verse entering in, how we turn blessings to other people, even whenever there's things that are a little different, can show a kind of mindset that invites in to coexist with his love, as long as we understand what's right by the word and Jesus' blood and what he's done. Even when experience and how they move through it with different facets is very, very important. So, yeah. I think that when it comes to each person and their journey with what's going on in their life, I think it's important to remember that they could be at a different spot, and they have different variables that God is using in his way, in their work with him. And that as long as we go back to the Bible and apply that to where we're going, that's what's important. So reminding that we can move forward with that and have that be our trajectory based on what we care about, I think is what's most important for it. And being always, as the Bible talks about, kind and showing blessings to other individuals wherever they are in their walk, I think is very good. I mean, Phil and Swank's got a point. If I'm busy playing a specific game, it's taken away from my devotions and prayers, that can be taken too far. I think it's a good point. And if we're playing something and we're thinking about how God's love reflects in what we see, that could be beautiful too. And I think it's just important to remember that each person has different areas of their life that they're doing too. So every person is at a different trajectory about where they are with their personal walk with God and what specific avenues it's taking us from. Everyone walks with Christ whenever they are washed by his blood, and that's the point. But the avenues of the specificities for how their preferences and personality click with that is very different, because everyone has different preferences of who they are. As long as they're not doing something that is against his love, that is wrong because it's moving them away. It can be a different kind of proclivity? Preference, I guess is the word I'm going for. There's a word for it. For where they're going specifically in that trajectory, for what they're interacting with in the world that leads back. Yeah, I think it's just important to remember where we belong. And remember that our heart and our own looking at it is where we're supposed to be keeping our focus too, from a psychological perspective, our own bubble and our inner locus of control, which is all we can manage as well. So yeah. Now guys, remember, let's be kind. We don't want any kind of, like negativity. It's okay to talk to each other, but we need to make sure that whenever we tackle a topic, we tackle the topic itself as an understanding, not anyone's personal walk or who they are as a person, because that's more of a heart kind of thing between them and God. And it's okay to get impassioned about what we speak about, because it means a lot to us. We just have to make sure that passion, like with games and things we're inviting and engaging with, is leading us to honoring one another and to the love and blessings that Romans talked about, like with our discussion today. Remembering that in every way I'm showing Christ, and to my brothers and to those who don't know, and I want to show love and understanding for whatever they are in it. Oh yeah, pushing each other's buttons is okay too. Yeah, and it's okay to be. And remember, whenever we have feelings, it's okay to validate those and experience those as well. Like Mallow, whenever he had the I couldn't catch the croc and he cried about it, and he's like, "Ooh, a good cry is good," and he's right. Sometimes it's okay to experience a difficult situation that is very trying, and is very difficult to move through, and we accept that I'm going to move through this with blessings of a mindset, but also at the same time validate the fact that I'm upset and hurt right now, or whatever feelings we may have, and do something to process those. Prayer is the big one. Giving this Lord, be like, "Lord, I'm feeling this way, and it's really hard right now. I know you love me, and I'm just feeling really upset. So I just want to express that to you, and I want to thank you for being with me through the upset feeling and letting me have the feelings, and maybe a way I can grow from it too." And remember, because the feelings themselves are beautiful, and there's no thing as a bad feeling itself. It's just how we take it in and what we do for its impact upon our actions and responses. Well, we don't know how people understand, so let's just try to move forward with blessings and focus on our inner locus and what we can do reaction-wise to other people, because that is the only thing we can control. And whenever we look at another person, we don't know what's going on in their bubble fully unless they fully express it and there's 100% open communication, which can be done to an extent, but even then, not everything can be expressed fully. And that's where faith and trust come in too. Yeah, we cannot command these stones to be bread. Yeah, and not even Jesus forced someone else to grow or change. The Holy Spirit works in people's hearts to do so, and Christ does so through his words. But there's also human experience and free will for how they're going to move in as well. Like, surely there has to be a way to have this conversation. Well, yeah, sure. But it also just may be a conversation that each person needs to have with themselves too. And maybe they're people at different areas. Yeah, it's being more open to like, yeah, I think it's being open and understanding, but not changing what we stand on. Remember, if we have something, please be careful about what we ask. Going with soft heart, yes. I think it's like, if we have an understanding of where we are, that's where our focus should be, is the place where we are. And if we focus on where we are, then in our inner bubble, and that relates to our relationship with Christ, that'll help to determine how we interact with others and how we choose blessings in our mindset, how we go about those interactions. Now remember, guys, let's be kind. Let's be kind. Different people have different experiences, and we're here to encourage one another and have kindness back and forth. So let's try to make sure that whenever we talk, we try to do the encouragement. So let's move forward, and so move forward with that. So let's go on ahead and head back in and just have a fun time and kind of talk about how the game relates to us and the positive experiences we can have with that. Okay. I want to save. It might have already saved though. Alright, what the heck's going on here? We got like bouncing dudes. What's the shit about those things outside? Are they part of this? What's going on? What's the things? What's happening? I was gone for like... Okay, I was gone for a while because of our discussion. That's fair. I was gonna say I was gone for 5 minutes, but that's not true. Oh, wow! Look at this bounce! I mean, he's not doing anything wrong. Like, he seems to be okay, right? Okay, this guy looks like he's bothered. Shy boar? What is this? I can die. Oh my god. Hot shot. Ow! Right, you know what time it is, everyone? Thunderbolt from the Odin's beard! Mellow level, guys!
Yeah, baby!
I love Mario's little dance! Look at him go! Is he cute? I should probably give him a little bit of attack. Just because I am using it a lot. Even though he's not attack-based. Hey Mario, can you see a watch? No, it seems suspicious. By the way, look what I found! Thank you! I'm okay. Yeah, Pablito, I looked for him in everything, so not everyone's, everything can point to him. True, and that's for everyone's individual experience to lead them to him as well. Hey, you got anything new? Please leave the correct amount of money for the items. Do your job! What are you doing? Excuse me, you want your... What? How can you shop at a time like this? Just take what you want and leave the money behind. Where is it?
Look at this dude.
Alright, get away from me. What are you doing? Frickin' die! Oh ho! So it's the exclamation point. It's not so much where the attack is, more the exclamation point. I guess I'm killing you. There we go. Thank you, Mario, for doing the job. Clean it up, I guess. Oh, sure, darn close. Thanks for the hair, Mario. There's a wallet the crocodile swiped from me. Can I have it back? No. Yes. Thank you so much. Here, I'll give you some more. Ooh, alright. Anyone in here? Everyone alright? I want to play outside! This is scary. Let's play indoors. I don't care. I'll jump them all! Alright, that's enough. And die! Oh my god, I messed up. Oh, Mario's the best. One? I need to get you a weapon, my boy. Okay, so he's only useful as like a meat shield at this point, and it's magic. Shit, she's right. I can't pay it off until things go around here. I got the perfect place for a wedding, but now we're all stuck inside. Wait, husband, we're going! But the monsters, they'll be fine. Alright, this guy's fine. This dude's okay. Look at her, she's just watching. There's no issues there. Any others? Troublemakers? Huh? 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 What are we doing? We're fine. We're fine. Oh shoot, I didn't mean that. Just die! I'll take it. What? Let me in. Oh my god. There's so many of them. What's happening here? Someone save me! Hey, knock it off. Ooh, the chain stayed between battles. Oh, chain broken. Oh my god, Mallow. Mallow! Now that was scary. He was hiding in Britain's room. I and some others couldn't escape in time. I didn't know how one got hurt. Hey, is it a party? What's up? What's going on here? But they're scared to pass by them. Get the frick out of here. Get out of get.
Get out of my way!
Ah, I messed up. That one I didn't. Does this even matter? Mallow, please! Woo! That's my boy. You're both almost dead. No, hit both of them! Where's my thing? Oh my god. Mallow! Mallow, please. Oh my god. Mario, just finish it. Thank you. Great, cool. Save my Mario again! How can I ever thank you enough? Give me something. That's a fast fam! Look at him, can't even bounce! Hey, maybe we should bounce on his head! This'll be fine, eh? Two shy guys gonna die tonight. Miss? Mallow, I don't know, just... Oh, defend! Oh god, you have a defend button. Thank god. Save my money again! Alright, thank you! You already said that. Like I said, money! Thanks, let's go. You're one piece! Hey, Mario, of course! Save my money? Okay, thank you. Give me money. Oh no, chance to show the drum! But it's terrible! Mario around, we're safe, right? There we go. Hey, wait, now a second, right? Please say this. Princess will be happy to know you have some of hers. Ooh. Now that was worth it. You're not sleeping with the princess in bed. Have you no manners? Here, I'll heal you without doing so. I'm scared! I'm a baby! Alright, I need to use these flower caps. No, no. Technically it heals too, which I could have used later, but whatever. I want more FP. So I can do more jumps. And I guess like Thunderbolt or whatever. Mallow's basically an item dispenser right now. Alright guys, remember, be kind. Let's try to focus on the game maybe a little bit. Remember, we just have some fun with it. Oh my god, Mario! Oh my god, I'm so good. No. Just defend. Oh god! Remember, let's try to not ask people about everything if they're not willing to talk about it right now, because right now it just might be done the time. Remember, we're on a medium where we can't have full conversations all the time anyway. Because, you know, we're kind of communicational right now. Kill you. There we go. Ah, I'm stupid. I could go back and heal. I'm fine. Oh, but wait. True. Well, even Moses and other people let people through growth, but that has to be with a person's decision about who they let, you know, to have help them to grow. Oh my god. Okay, I got it. No. Sometimes the best way is that we just be kind to someone as well. Woo! Plant the seeds, yeah, but we plant seeds by kindness too. If we understand that someone may not be open to a discussion at this very moment, perhaps it means that the seed of kindness is what, like, the most important thing at the time. We'll do magic, even though I'm not sure it's the best thing. Well, I mean, I don't think there's not being not kind. I think it's just like, sometimes the best kindness can be understanding someone's boundaries about where something is and being like, you know what? I think that this is an important topic, but I can see that the boundaries that someone holds right now may not be the best time to enact on that set at that time. So in order to show the best kind of kindness, I'm going to also I'm going to also take steps to not engage in this kind of discussion or whatever the boundary may be about at that time, and be like, okay, let's talk about just us together, and then we can do that. Even the other Saints accuse me of playing too loudly when I'm marching with them. I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, noticing something and bringing it up in conversation to be really good. We also have to remember that whenever we're interacting with people, they may be at different times and different sections of their lives, and we don't always have the immediate connection with someone of where they are in their life too, because they may be at a different section compared to where we are, and we may not have that kind of closeness of the two of us being on the same like relational to where we're very close to the person. Maybe it takes some time, and then more deeper conversations happen too. It's okay to not have immediate deep conversations with someone as well, because even the building blocks of getting to know someone. Sorry, my colon is here. Is important for getting to know someone as well. So, yeah. So, I think at this point, it might be good to understand the conversation we had, and that we are on kind of like where we are with the conversation, and then we can move on to the next conversation as well, and kind of like enjoy where we are too. So, how about we do that and move forward with where we are as well, focusing on the game and our interactions in the moment too, understanding that we've covered something pretty well, and then we can move on from that too, and have each person kind of go through their own feelings related to the conversation as well, because there is a digestion section as well of, you know, what's been said. Where do you think everyone went? Okay, looks like we have ourselves a new home. We can bounce around all day, and there's no one who can stand in our way. Yahoo, let's pace all night away! Hey guys, we ain't doing that, okay? Knock it off. That's a fast, pal! Look at him, can't even bounce! Hey, maybe we can bounce on his head. We already did this. Get out of here. Oh, God, oh. That's a big bounce. I feel like I should use, hold on. I feel like I should use,
Listen up, gang. These guys are gonna put up stuff. Are we happy about this?
You're asking for it! Oh, you're gonna get it! You picked the wrong people to not bounce with, bub. These are like evil Tiggers. How about a fat lip to go with that ugly mustache? Oh boy, here we go. Here we go! Let's go on ahead. Oh, we've got stuff. We can... Are they weak to fire? We'll have to check. Mash time! That was 47. Eat this, sucker! Oh, he's weak to electricity. Okay. In that case, Mario just do normal hits. And Mallow, light him up! I think... Woohoo, sucker! I think they made him weak to electricity because they knew Mallow could not do any damage besides magic at this point. This guy's gonna freaking die. Thunderbolt! Ow, that hurt. Die, Springman! Woohoo! Can't block. Ah, so magic attacks like that, you cannot block. Interesting. Okay. Mario just... Oh my god, they're back. How much special do we have? That should be enough. Now you die!
Brutal Savage wrecked.
Easy! I love Mario's little dance! It's so cute! Magic. He's a magic boy, man. He's a little magic boy. Ooh, pretty.
That's so beautiful.
Aw, look at this lighting and design. This looks so good. Hi. Ooh, little sparkles. Man, that looks very beautiful. They did a really good job. This is not good! This is not good! The mustachioed one is strong! Strong, yes? We must warn the boss! Come on! Hi. Is there any chests in here? Is there any chests in here? Hold on, I'll help you in a second. Where's this? Aww. Oh, it's you, Mario. What a relief. Once again, Mario, to the rescue. Yes, thank you. Very good. But who are those, things, this depraved and terrible species? Chancellor! Sir, they got us all right. Mario, so it's you who got us through all this. We owe you too much. That would be 2 O's for 2. It's a typo. First the princess, and now this! This is too much of a...
Mario! How about we ask my grandpa for help? He knows everything.
Excuse me, but, who the heck is this kid?
Oh, hello, my name is Mallow. I'm from Tadpole Pond.
Mighty Friend of Mario's is welcome here in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Awesome, I'll be taking my free room and board now.
Whoa, hold on. As I was saying, Mario, you are only hope. Mario, please, you must rescue the princess now!
Mario, I'm in your debt too. Let's head over to Grandpa's place in Tadpole Pond. He can help. Wait, why didn't we come to the Mushroom Kingdom in the first place? Guess I'll find something soon enough.
Could Clay Morton, the sword-like monster who crashed in the Mushroom Kingdom, have anything to do with the star piece that Mario found? Our heroes moved to Karo's sewers. Oh, not the sewers. All we could do is wait. I mean, you could try to do something. All right. You know what? The That's fine. I don't need you. I'm a mod. Is that like the old game and then they made it look new? Because that's beautiful, but...
Hey, Mario, look what you're standing in.
Yeah, I know. I got it. Everyone's fine. Hooray. Do you have any new items? Is there anything new to buy? Hey, man, I'll look up to you. I was trying to buy.
Hey, mister, I got my coin back.
Oh, good lad. Okay, here's the thing I promised you. Now that you have money, I care. Yeah, make sure it doesn't get stolen, eaten, or whatever. Your grandpa needs it, okay? A cricket pie? That's probably very nutritious. No, thank you.
You bet. Well, thank you so much. Grandpa will be delighted.
You got anything new, old man? No, actually. Okay, that should be fine. That should be fine. Okay. I probably don't even need all this, but I'm gonna go on ahead just to be safe. Man, does Mallow not get a weapon? Like, what the crap?
All right, here, look out.
Yeah, this is real help. Real help, buddy. Alright, what time is it? It's 2:30. Let's go a little bit longer. Just a tiny bit. Just a little bit. Maybe another half an hour. I don't want to stay up too late. Ooh, but the sewers. That's a big area. Okay, I think... How long have we been going? 3 hours. Okay. Okay, we're gonna stop there because I know what... I remember the sewers a bit, and I remember it's pretty long. And I don't want to break up the sewers, you know? I kind of want to do them all in one go. Okay, we'll stop there. We did pretty good. Had a nice conversation. We did the first main boss area. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. It's a good start. It's a good start. Okay. All right, that should be pretty good for now. All right. Move this over. Oh, okay. That was so pleasant. What a nice little game. It was fun back then, and the remake is so cute. It looks so good. I'm very, very excited. This seems very nice. Okay, we're gonna stop there because it is 2:30 in the morning, and I do need to get to bed. I took a nap, but I shouldn't be up until 6. It's probably not the best thing to do. Pablito, hey Chris, I'm telling you, the meal you gave me with your truth tonight was enough to fuel the patience and kindness I just showed. Thank you very much. Of course, I'm happy to show that. Feeling Wanks, you too. I thank you both for coming in. You have both had some really good discussions and some really good points. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you guys were here and we all got to have some real good fun together and some good discussions. I think it's important as we move forward to always do what we've learned in like the patience and kindness, because we're all here for the same thing of glorifying the Lord and having a good time together, watching something and enjoying. And if someone enjoys in a different way, that's okay too. We can have some deep conversations and have some like nice inputs here and there too. It's just sometimes I think it's also good that once we've covered something, it's good to move on as well. Maybe we can revisit it later too. Sometimes conversations and topics do very, very well for sitting and kind of contemplating on for a little bit as well. And kind of like seeing where does this go if I think about it for a little bit too. And the kindness that we show for just the interactions themselves are very helpful and always have like a lot of love to them too. So let's try to hold that whenever we go as well, like we've been doing tonight. So I thank you so much, guys, for coming by. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. I hope everyone did too. A little bit of some TED Talks there, a little bit of discussions and fun, as well as the game itself, which I hope everyone's enjoying. When it comes to streams, we're going to be streaming again, not Sunday because I've got my dad's birthday, but next Friday, we'll actually be able to dive back into Mario RPG for a longer period of time because I have the day off. And we'll probably be able to start around 9 or something. I want to eat dinner first. I don't want to do it in the middle of the day because I know food will break it up, and I don't really want to deal with that. Plus, I should probably use the day to get a few things done. So I also want to start after dinner. That way, once again, food doesn't interrupt or anything, so we can just go. Because breaks are good, and I should probably take a little bit more. but I kind of just like to get into the game and really enjoy it and everything. So I kind of just go with it. So we'll probably start around 9 for next Friday, and that'll probably be our next dive. And then on the Sunday after next Friday, this next Sunday, I believe we'll be in with Epsilon for Final Fantasy 14 again too. And we should be able to finish that soon. So we'll have some new adventures coming up because we're gonna take a break from 14 after the Shadowbringers is done. Anyway, thank you so much everyone for coming by. I hope God blesses every single one of you. I thank you so much for the joy and the love and the fun that you've brought with you too. And I appreciate you being here, and I hope you have a great time going forward and a great week. I'll see you guys some other time next week if you want to stop by. And may God bless you, and I hope you have a great day. Good night, Feelings Wank. Good night, Chris. Bye, Papito. Bye, Feelings Wanks. Bye, everyone who joined. If you're watching VODs and stuff, this will go up on YouTube as soon as I can. All right, goodbye for now.